What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Seamus.
Soda.
And I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
And I love our intro music. Guys, welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks Thanksgiving edition. Thanksgiving Day is no different than any other day, and that's why this is, again, our first show. Every show is our first show. Take 2, episode 1, yet again. Guys, I am Marsh at Ref Marsh. We have another Marsh on the show today. We are just hanging out, me and my brother. It's a holiday, and that's what holidays are for. Chilling, hanging, relaxing. That's why I'm not in my ref uniform. That's why I have my Huskus the Pig Boy shirt on for Thanksgiving. Guys, my brother Aaron M. Marsh is here. Aaron, go ahead and say hi.
Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me? Am I set my volume on?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Gonna get a little wrestling background in myself. Although there's too much sun on it.
Oh, that's so good, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I like it for whatever reason.
Thanks for
your
having
angle.
me for the Thanksgiving show.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. Dude, that's such a good belt. I'm seeing it on the Twitch. But yeah, no, I was really excited to do something with you today. Do a little family gathering, as it were. This is how we do it nowadays. It's not like there's always silver linings, right? Whenever something horrible happens. And to me, the silver lining of COVID has been the connection and the just mass amount of ability to be around everyone you know all over the world suddenly when it was much more difficult. We talk more now than we did before.
I think so. We always have had our moments where we talk a ton or we space it all out. But I would say that like the idea of distance doesn't matter at all anymore.
Yeah.
Like the idea that's like, oh, should I call the guy down the street to see if he wants to have lunch, or should I just call somebody and FaceTime them and have lunch? You know, like, and it's all the same. And I think it's great. I think there's a lot of silver linings to this. I think we're going to find more and more silver linings to this as it goes on. There's, of course, a lot of tragedy that will be very apparent and evident, so I don't even bring it up even. But I've heard some governments talk about, like, how this is a massive restart on how to, like, rebuild. Mm-hmm. And they can rebuild it for a future. You know, like, as opposed to, like, trying to keep all old economy alive. We don't have to worry about any of that in the future, I don't think. Only as much as we want to. So it's just like in 2-3 years, we're going to see a lot of silver lining to this. Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, the company I work for, they used the months that they couldn't be open, and we actually reorganized and implemented an entire inventory system that was never there before. And we've already saved hundreds of thousands of dollars just by putting in a system that we, quote, never had time for before. So, yeah, I think a lot of businesses...
Exactly. In fact, I got really mad when I went back to my business and they did the exact opposite, and they opened their doors for 2 months before bringing in other people, and then go, can you guys organize this? We're way behind. And you're like, we had months to be way ahead. You chose to be way behind.
We'll figure it out when we get there, bro.
No, exactly. I was like, if you hired a monkey to take care of the business, I imagine they would do the exact same thing you did. Open the doors and then just react.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Exactly.
What do you mean no one's been in here since I locked the door last?
Yeah, exactly. When I was the only one with the keys. You're like, you could have... The business can run as fluid as you've ever wanted it to now, and you chose for it to run worse than ever.
It's like when you live alone, and then you get all mad someone left dishes in the sink.
It's exactly it. You're like, I can't believe no one's flushing the toilet. And you're like, this is all me.
Can you imagine someone comes into your work and they're all like in a bad mood, and like one's like, I woke up to another turd in the toilet, man. No one's flushing the toilet but me. Dude, don't you live alone? Yeah.
Am I the only one that flushes the toilet around here? And you're like, there was a moment actually when Nigel moved out, and I got mad at the dishes, and I was like, Nigel's been gone for 2 months. This is you. Like I had to. I learned that I was getting grumpy at just anything around. And I was like, oh, you're also getting grumpy at yourself and blaming others for it. And that's not appropriate either.
Dude, but it's just because you loved and missed him so much.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going through the grieving.
Love Nigel.
Oh, yeah.
I missed him.
I love him.
But part of that was learning, I was like, Nigel's probably the best roommate I've ever had.
I agree with that. I think he's the best roommate I never had.
Yeah, that could be too, man.
You know what I mean? Like hanging out with him as much as I did, which is not just a handful of times. Every time it was all like, ugh, amazing. What an aura to be around some people, you know?
Oh yeah, it was just calm, chill, got things done when you got to get things done. Also, just real fun.
Yeah.
Only a couple
and if
times
I just showed up to your
me and
house, oh yeah, and anytime I just showed up at your house and you weren't there, it didn't seem to. It didn't. That wasn't a thing. It was, oh yeah, hey, your brother's not here. Let's hang. Oh okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was still beer or something to put on the grill. Constantly
Oh, yeah.
grilling and beering. It was good. It was a good roommate.
Good times, good people.
He's now a dad, so he's got a wife and stuff. You know, there's no more roommates. His roommate's his wife.
And a kid, right? Or does he have a kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got roommates still. He's probably just as good to them. Probably at
I'm
least
sure.
as good to them.
So, if he was a worse father to them, a worse roommate to them than he was to me. So yeah, the kid's cool, but Aaron brought home DVDs sometimes.
Yeah.
This kid doesn't even know what they are.
This kid has never brought home a party pack EG. Never.
Yeah, not once. Never once
Yeah.
he's surprised me with anything good.
Yeah. It falls on me every time. Bogus.
He's in Phoenix and now has EGs. Sponsored by EGs. Double E.
Yeah, sponsored, not sponsored, is what we like to say. Sponsored, not sponsored.
Double E. I have to sing that song every time I bring up my sponsorship to EG.
Dude, I sing it every time the producer messages me and says anything about EGs. I'm singing it while I'm responding in text.
Yeah, of course. You got to. It's
I don't
part
even
of
think
the
they
thing.
still use that commercial. I don't think they use it anymore.
Well, that's the whole point of branding. Is like when they stop, you still have it in you.
Yeah. No. And I do.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Wait, so I saw your wrestling belt on Instagram.
Yeah, dude,
The
I got a
person
new
that made it.
championship. Yeah.
Yeah.
JB
whoever made
Toys
it.
1 at Instagram.
JB Toys 1. I was searching their Instagram. It's fantastic. If you're into wrestling, they are like the place to go to buy things. It's crazy. He makes a lot of replica belts that WWE's not making. I know that, and again, sponsored, not sponsored, but I spent an hour on his Instagram trying to figure out what city he's in.
I thought he was in
Is
New
that a
York because
secret?
he met up with I mean, I guess I can look at the shipping label I have on the box still, but I
It
thought
looked like
he
it was
was in New
purposefully
York.
secret. I thought it was Atlanta because of the amount of wrestlers that were coming around and doing autograph signings like now-ish. I was like, he's either in Florida or Georgia.
I guess that's true. The thing that I saw, because I recently saw a clip he posted of him acquiring Jay Switchblade. There's a lot of J's.
In-ring gear?
Switchblade. In-ring gear. And it was in a hotel, and he made a mention about how he drove down to the city, and it was like New York. But that could have also not been recent, so that's true too. So I guess I don't really know. I guess I just assumed from that one post he was close enough
I was
to New
trying
York.
to figure
he had
that
to be
out.
New York.
I was like, it's got to be somewhere close. But, like, not a ton of WWE people are coming through there. So that's why I was also like, this is probably Georgia somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think it's the relationship he has with the indies. I don't think that he has that kind of relationship, especially because he makes the replicas the way that he does. WWE would be probably furious, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. Of course they would be furious.
I don't know why they
They're
wouldn't be. I
furious
mean, some
if
of the
anyone
replicas
makes
he's
a
making
dollar are good.
they're great, and some of them are ones that they sell their current version of, and he's selling a, quite frankly, better version for similar cost, or a more real, or a more true to memory version as well, because he'll put the F in there and stuff.
That's a great way to put it. Exactly. No, that's what I was looking at. I was like, oh yeah, this is for the real fan. Like this isn't like, oh, this is what I'm allowed to do. They're like, no, there's no law here. This is what the fan wants it to be. And you're like, yes, it is. 100%. Which is why I was looking, because I was like, if it's within any distance of anywhere I am, I want to visit.
I don't know that he has a brick and mortar.
There's a picture of one.
Really? Oh, that's incredible.
Yes.
Then I want to visit
Yeah,
now.
exactly. That's why I was like, oh, excuse me? Where are you? Because I wouldn't have cared where he was if there wasn't a picture of a brick and mortar.
Huh. Well, I know I saw him in one of those pictures. He was outside of Wrestling Universe, which also is in New York. So.
Okay.
And that's not his store. But Wrestling Universe is pretty cool, too. Sponsored, not sponsored. WrestlingUniverse.com. TheWrestlingUniverse.com. Say what?
Because I know there's us wrestling.
Flushings, yeah.
There's a wrestling store in is it Miami Beach? Or Daytona Beach, wherever Hogan lives. Hogan owns a store that has a bunch of wrestling stuff, and it's not only Hogan stuff. It's mostly Hogan stuff, but it's not only because he owns it with Jimmy Hart.
Hogan stuff.
Oh yeah. No, there's 80% of it seems like it's Hogan stuff, especially if Hogan autographs and stuff. But there's other stuff. There's like other figures and stuff in there.
That's pretty cool, dude. And I thought for a long time because Jimmy Hart does that, I thought Jimmy's famous seafood was actually Jimmy Hart's, but I don't think that's true at all.
But it was.
I don't think it is.
Oh, he just hangs there because it also says the word Jimmy in it?
That
would not shock me.
I think so, because I saw something. I think the reason I started thinking maybe he doesn't is, for one, I don't think it's in the same city as him, but two, because I think it's like in Boston or some shit. But I think that I saw a response that they made on their own Twitter account towards someone else's response to them, and it was like shit talking, but like customer service shit talk.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
yeah,
funny.
don't buy here. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, I don't see Jimmy Hart being that way.
No, Jimmy Hart is like, please buy here.
Mm-hmm. He's like, it's okay, baby. Baby, it's good. We'll sort you right out, baby.
Exactly. We'll get you desserts. We'll make it good, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, he's good. Yeah, I like Jimmy Hart.
Dude, he's incredible. When
Why
I
isn't
was
he
at
around at
StarCast,
all?
dude, yo, literally as we were watching, what show was it? Raw or SmackDown? Which one we were watching? And then producer just goes, I miss Jimmy Hart. I was like, what? Oh, it was SmackDown. It was Paul Heyman. It was during Survivor Series.
He's always so excited.
Yeah, she's watching Paul Heyman on the outside of the ring, and she just goes, I miss Jimmy Hart. That guy had a lot of energy. I was like, what? I was like, you started watching like 4 years ago. She just remembers the whole Crown Jewel thing with Hogan's team and stuff. Jimmy Hart being involved in that. We went to a show where he was ringside, and the whole time he was ringside, we could hear him rose back, just being like, come on, man. Come on, baby. Kick out. Come on, baby. You got it.
He's going to be like this Mojo when he's 70.
Yeah.
Hype man.
Yeah, Mojo will be Jimmy Hart, but bigger.
Oh, yeah. It's like whoever the third man is for New Day. Just continually active cheering him on. Jimmy Hart was that for whoever he came out with. And he came out with, like, it seemed like anybody. It seemed like any week anyone could have come out with Jimmy Hart.
Well, and that was also part of his shtick. I mean, especially in Memphis, his whole thing was that. So to me, I think the two greatest rivalries in all of Memphis, the most famous I would say would be the Kaufman one, just because that was national. But I wouldn't even say that was the best one. To me, Lawler and Dundee was incredible. But which one I think is even bigger was the Jimmy Hart and Jerry Lawler rivalry, because the rivalry was never Jimmy was going to beat up Lawler. It was this manager hated Lawler, so he always brought in somebody I'm going to find someone to kill you, dude.
Yeah, and he put him over.
Like,
that was the whole thing. It's a great gimmick.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
If a manager could straight steal it today, that they have a beef with somebody and they're just putting together people to go fight them, to go fight their fights for them. That's a great angle already.
And it was instant credibility for anybody who came in with Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart thinks this guy can beat Jerry Lawler. This guy must be good. Especially
if it's your debut.
Yeah.
That's what a beautiful way to have a debut.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're debuting with Jimmy Hart, it's like, oh shit. Yo, and then because managers were so important back then, when Macho Man made his first appearance in WWE, Jimmy Hart and Bobby Heenan and who's the third? There was a third manager who came out, and they were all standing there watching him. And it started being like, as a debut, everyone who didn't know him went, oh, every manager is scouting this guy. This guy must be good.
That's what a great debut that is. Where the managers are sitting there on the side, scouting like their Major League Baseball managers, and like, well, yeah, it's a high prospect.
Exactly. It makes that person, it gives such credibility, as opposed to all these, what we get nowadays is just jobber match after jobber match after jobber match, and you're supposed to believe, oh, they're tough guys, they're beating up people I've never heard of. This was just all like, look at these managers who build teams of credibility are looking at this guy. This guy's got to be good.
Well, managers right now are really in the low.
Yeah.
There's not a really great lineage of managers. I mean, Paul Heyman's a great manager. I thought Zelina Vega was doing a great job managing. And then outside of that, you're just like, and now they're coming out with their wives and girlfriends.
Yeah. Well, my issue with Zelina as a manager was that she did awesome in NXT, literally telling the story of Andrade being a party boy and her getting him focused, but there was never a why. And there was never a what are you doing? And Zelina's focus as a character was never clear. It was never, I want to manage the greatest talents. It was, for whatever reason, she was just suddenly invested in Andrade and wanted him on top. And then when she gets to the main roster with Andrade, she brings in Angel and Austin Theory, I think. And it was just this weird, like, no why there either. And then she just started wrestling on her own. So I felt like the manager focus for her character was so split. But she was so good on the mic, and she was so good talking for her people. The only thing that was missing, I think, was the why. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's true. Oh, that's true. But yeah, the why she cares. But we'll never find that out.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Although, did you guys talk about in the last episode how much people get paid?
How much people get paid? I don't know contracts. I don't understand.
They
contracts.
announced the contracts of 2020. They announced how much WWE paid all their wrestlers.
Who announced that?
Yeah, I think it was. There's an annual Forbes article, but it's their base salary. It doesn't count for any merch or anything, but it tells you what the base salaries are.
Yeah.
I can send you the link right now if you're looking.
Yeah, send me the link.
Okay.
We can go over some of that. I think I have it.
Because I found it really interesting because, you know, we all know Zelina and WWE have split ways. Yeah. And I heard that she had to choose, you know, like Twitch over WWE because Twitch paid her more than WWE did. And I was like, all right, that makes sense. And then I saw that a lot of their women are making $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I was like, a lot of their women that are being used weekly. And so then it was just like, oh, okay. You know what? I could see somebody making more on Twitch from their WWE following than WWE.
Yeah. But, I mean, all that's even such a complicated thing. And we've gone into it a few times of, like, it's not as simple as that. The other thing being that there's a lot of Twitch channels that are still open. I think that there's also... I think there's a lot of ego involved on both sides. I think that there's always the possibility... Because also what's also reopened, too, is Cameo. We still see a number of the YouTube channels are still up. A number of the Twitch ones are still up. I think there's more to her story than we know, obviously. But I also think that there's potentially an ego clash where it's you're not taking a penny of what I get on Twitch. It has zero to do with you. And WWE saying, who were you before we put you on Twitch? You know what I mean?
She was a star in Impact, but she's not of the same level star. Like, to compare WWE's numbers and Impact's numbers is a great difference. I sent you the link to the Forbes article.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even go so far as to say she was a star on Impact. She just happened to be on Impact. She was on Impact a couple of times. Like, she had a character on there, but it wasn't. Nobody was talking about it. It's not one of those things. Let's see, we got Brock Lesnar.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, it's not.
Roman 5, Randy 4, Seth 4, Triple H 3.3, Becky 3.1. That's surprising. I would have expected Becky to be around the 5.
I thought I thought she was lower than that, actually.
Really? I thought that the whole rumor when she signed last was it was like a $5 or $6 million deal. That she had re-signed to be one of the top paid in the company for good reason. But I mean, obviously Brock is a different thing. But
that's the crazy thing about reading these lynches. I'm sorry, these salaries. I just saw her name pop up as I'm going down. Is of course the top two are always Brock and Cena.
Yeah. Who
of course we only see but 2-3 times a year. But at the same time, you're also like, well, they are doing a lot for the company, and the company is using their image every week or every day, especially like on their trucks that are going through any town on any given day. Those two faces are going to be on it. They're going to use their faces in any branding first and foremost, and those people will draw. So I understand how that happens. Yeah, and then there's Roman.
The other thing too is you keep that link with WWE with them, just because when they appear on literally anything else, it's news, and everyone's talking about WWE star John Cena about to appear in Fast and the Furious and on Jay Leno or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like it's also additional advertising linked to them by allowing them to do the other things they're doing.
For sure.
Braun Strowman getting 1.9 is a little surprising for just because of how vocal he's been in some of his interviews and in that chronicle about how depressed he is about his stance in the company and stuff. And you're like, you're top 10 paid people in the company. How do you not think they're behind you some way or another?
He also just re-signed.
Yeah.
His re-signing was like 2 months ago.
Oh, that's cool.
So a lot of that could have come 2 months ago when he just re-signed. We're like, hey, we know we're using you a ton. We hear you're not happy. Here's another $1 million on top of what you made last year.
Could be.
And of course, this is all before merch.
Yeah, this is all outside of merch. This is all their downsides and stuff.
Because if it included merch, it unfortunately, like the top 5 are going to be like people who are like aren't really that active. Like Undertaker would be in there, Stone Cold would be in there, maybe even The Rock.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if New Day were in the top 10 with royalties.
Oh, you're
alone.
right. Yeah, New Day's got tons of stuff out there.
Yeah,
I'm happy to see Becky in there as with the guys on that.
Yeah.
Because it was always depressing to see like the top 20 of them be men, and you're like, yes, but definitely these women are making a difference in everything. Half the show is the women's division, but it's not half of your roster pay.
I think also, is it just me, or I think this article came out April 2020, so this is potentially not all accurate either, because I believe that I believe some of the re-signing on there would be notable. Also, the fact that I believe Brock or Lesnar's, I don't think even under contract with them.
Well, yeah, but that
know.
doesn't mean he didn't get paid this year.
I mean,
Because
he
that's
would
the
have got
other
paid
part,
up till
is, like,
April.
Yeah, exactly. And I bet you he got paid well. So, like, there's some of that stuff where it's just like, yeah, there's some back and forth. If that was an April article, I'm sorry. I thought I found an article that was, like, this week released.
Yeah. Yeah, because I also don't see the thing you were talking about with, like, the 80,000s and stuff. But
yeah, I didn't see that on that list either, but I was, talking to you, so I didn't want to spend too much time, like, browsing on the internet.
Yeah, and I mean we're pretty consistent with just touting that we're not comfortable. We don't understand contracts. We don't buy into every rumor, everything that we see. It is interesting to see this stuff, and I think one of the reasons that we do like the topic so much is because wrestling is such a combination of so many other types of industries that it kind of creates its own world in a lot of aspects. So it's really interesting to get certain peeks into it that we do get.
It did, and the reason I brought it up was because of Zelina having to choose between Twitch and WWE.
Which again is rumor. No one's confirmed that. Just said it was breach of contract is all they said.
Okay, yeah.
And the only reason I question some of that is in general is like what it all truly means is the fact that there's other people who still have all of their third party things. And if it was truly just you have to pick this one or that, I understand making an example out of somebody. But once the example's been set, you also expect the ball to start rolling, So I think there's more to it. I think it's really complicated.
Like, because after I saw she was fired, one of the first things I did was get in Cameo and just look up WWE, which I haven't done in a while, and to see who's still around, who's not.
Yeah, there's a few. There's quite a few.
Yeah, there's a couple that are still weekly people on the show that are having their cameos up. And I was like, all right, that's interesting.
And Street Profits just got added to it. They weren't even on before. So, I don't know. I think it's really interesting. I think there's a lot to it. I think it's a really complex business. And
it's going to be really interesting to see how it continues to unfold. Because we're still, I believe, like in only chapter 2 of like a 15-chapter story.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really like listening to the old timers talk about it. I listened to Cornette's view on it, and he supports a bunch of it. I listened to Eric Bischoff talk about it for about a half an hour. He's kind of a be careful what you wish for type, and the ramifications that could have business wide. So I do like hearing the people who've been in it for a really long time have completely opposite opinions and talk about it from their experience standpoint. Because the other thing we get is everyone else who's talking about it, all these wrestling journalists, they don't know. They don't know. They're guessing, and they're reporting and coming up to conclusions, as is all the rest of us fans, and we're doing it with our heart and our gut, which is really nice and a very nice, kind sentiment to make, of saying, I want my favorites to always have every single dollar in the world ever. But there's also a lot more to it than just that. So it's one of those things where it's very nice. You think that if they unionize, everyone will be taken care of and everything's perfect from then on out. However, it's a much more complicated thing than that, and I'm really curious to see how it actually unfolds. More so than I am about yelling about it on the internet.
That's true.
These evil
I
devils.
As a fan, is exactly what you're saying we shouldn't run away with. I'm going to run away with it for a second. Going to be a fan, speak from my heart about it. I just don't know why WWE doesn't create their own Cameo-like service on their own website and take their own percentage that Cameo, match or approximately about. And that way, both sides are happy. I feel like there's a middle ground that they should talk about and can be reached.
Yeah, I think a middle ground is exactly what you'll see. I also think that the idea that people started popping back up on Cameo, I think has a lot to do with WWE having a contract with Cameo, saying you can use, our stars can be there, but we get this or that or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, for sure. And
But I
then
don't understand contracts.
I don't know what WWE's middle ground for Twitch would be, but it's time to have that conversation with Twitch and the boys and the company and figure that out. And when I say the boys, I mean everyone in the locker room, of course.
Yeah.
It's just traditionally been called the boys, but some of the bigger Twitch streams are also the female stars.
They are. All
They are.
of the bigger ones
Paige. Well, with the exception of with Up Up Down Down.
Yeah, but Up Up Down Down. This is what I love about Xavier Woods. Apart from literally everything, he has found a way to do this under the umbrella of WWE from the beginning. Because I think also Woods is different than a lot of the talent you see go through who always talk about being a dream of being part of WWE, wrestling for WWE. This has always been their dreams, that type stuff. I think that Woods is so smart that his dream actually encapsulated more than that. I always want to be a part of WWE. He wanted to have a gaming community online. He wanted to Twitch. He wanted to YouTube. He understood what all that meant. And he basically approached WWE with, how do I launch this under your guys' umbrella? So he's been protected since day one. Yeah. If you go to upupdowndownshop.com, it's WWE shop / Up Up Down Down, and you have a bunch of Up Up
you
Down
can
Down
buy
merch.
their belt on the WWE site.
Yeah, their newest Elite figure comes with an Up Up Down Down belt.
That's great.
Yeah, the newest Xavier Woods, it comes with 2 heads. One of them is the gear he had at SummerSlam last year, where he was dressed up like oh my God, Stevie Wonder. So he's got all the braids and the sunglasses on, and it comes with an Up Up Down Down belt.
That's great.
It's phenomenal.
That's fantastic.
It's incredible.
I love all of
He
it.
was never not open and honest and transparent from the look of it. And I don't know everything, obviously. But here's someone who developed such a thing and developed such a branding with it that if he can't wrestle again, he's still under the WWE umbrella, still making content for WWE.
That's what I like the most about all of this, is that people who have to retire for some reason, be it Daniel Bryant needs to focus on being a dad, or Mick Foley just aged out of the whole thing, he still has a source of income from the fandom, be it cameos or Twitches or whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And I think it's really cool. And I think it's an awesome community. I think that most people who get into wrestling have to have an ego to get to a point of success. I do think that egos clashing heads is the heart and soul of wrestling from day one. And I think there's maybe been a lack of compromise on some of the tables when it compromises all both sides really need.
For sure. Totally.
I don't know. I think it's awesome. I think it's really cool because I know that it has opened up a lot of things. One of the things that I think is a huge silver lining of all this too is that before all the COVID and lockdown stuff, those avenues weren't much of anything for the WWE superstars who had them. And now we've created an issue with it because they're making so much. Like, how fantastic is that?
Awesome.
That's
totally
so cool.
awesome.
Before the pandemic, none of them had time for any of this. The ones who had it were minorly successful to the point where no one really noticed or cared. When you found out that AJ had a stream, people went, "Really?" And it turns out he had it for years. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I also think that it's great for the fans that do play against these stars in video games in their spare time or whatnot, or don't just watch it and enjoy it. Those people are the ones that are the most invested when comes time to like have any match where they're like, no. Xavier's practically a friend of mine. He just doesn't know it.
Yeah.
I watch him win
saw this
all the time.
Oh, 100%. But I even saw so one of the other things I think came out of this, which is incredible, is the virtual meet and greets. Since lockdown, I've been able to have a meet and greet with Mandy Rose. We had Naomi, Carmella, Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, Sheamus. Like, that wouldn't have happened otherwise, you know?
No, for sure not.
But I was watching some of the videos on some of them, and one of the guys who meets Xavier Woods says, "Hey, man, it's me," and gives his handle, and he goes, "Oh, hey, man, what's up?" And then the guy asks Xavier Woods, "I wanted to know, did you finish this game on this thing?" And Woods is all like, "Oh, yeah, I wasn't streaming it because of this." And then they start talking about video games for 2 minutes, and he goes, "Awesome, man. Well, it's been good catching up. I got to go on to the next." You know what I mean? You're like, that doesn't happen without Twitch. You know what I mean?
Exactly that. And it's just like, that's exactly what Twitch is all about. That's the Twitch community meeting up with the WWE community, and they could so happily marry like that.
Yeah. Producer became a huge, already liked Ember Moon a lot, but when Ember Moon launched her Twitch, started going in there all the time. And then when Ember Moon started recognizing her handle and calling her out and talking to her, it was like this constant thing of, I was talking about Ember Moon again today. Like, awesome.
She talked about Ziggy.
Yep, great.
That's me.
Yeah, she was talking about Ziggy on her stream once.
That's awesome.
Yeah, our squirrel. So, I mean, it creates that connection where, like, once you see them back on TV, you're like, that's my friend. You know? Like,
for sure. Absolutely it does. And I think that's the part that WWE, I mean, I'm sure they noticed and they know. But that's the part where they got to look at it and they go, we have to harness this too. Like, we can't get rid of all of this. We just have to work together through all of this.
Yes. This is a positive thing in all accounts. Why does it feel like a negative thing to us, and how do we make it positive for everyone?
Exactly. Because clearly the superstars are liking it. The fans are loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's super cool to have that connection with somebody like that. Which also, super happy to see Ember Moon back, you know?
Oh, so good. She had a great matchup this week, too.
Yeah, I haven't watched NXT in a long time, and I just had it on last night.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was like, as anything was happening, you're like, oh, I haven't seen them in forever. You know, like, and it's just, all of that is just, every single person. And then I was just, I don't know if they were actually gone or I was gone. I know I was gone.
That's true, too. But, dude, how cool is it Toni Storm's over? I've been saying for a long time that I wanted her out of NXT UK and into NXT proper. That's how I call it. And I'm really excited to have her over there. Although, my only problem is every time I see her, I think she's, like, too big a star for NXT. I'm like, she feels like such a star. Why is she not?
Well, number one, she is. She's a huge star. She won't be there next year. Watch her show up on SmackDown or something. She's going to end up somewhere big. And the whole reason, this is her graduating. Every time someone's come over from NXT UK, we've already completely been won over by them.
That's true.
And so that's like the other side. You're like, oh, no, they did this because you can't keep Dunn down. You got to bring Dunn over. Like, that guy is going to headline WrestleMania in 5 years. We need to be watching him now. Yeah, he's incredible. And then it's just like, same with Toni Storm. She's fantastic. I want to see her go against like everybody.
Yeah.
And right now it's like, what, we got to go
Toni
against
Storm
Rhea
matches
Ripley?
are dream matches.
Yeah, no, I want to everybody. You're like, I don't know who I want to see her against Bayley. I want to see her against Sasha. I want to see her against Asuka. I bet you her and Carmella would put on a great match.
Yeah.
I think Carmella's way underrated.
She had, I think, 2 matches with Rhea Ripley, and that's what actually won me over to Rhea Ripley. To when she even showed up for NXT UK, I was all like, oh, okay, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So, like, all of those are going to be good, too. So it's just like, no, like, I'm really excited to see her over. I get she's got to know everyone over here first, I guess. But there's no reason that she couldn't jump straight over to whatever they need her to. Although I do like watching some of these bigger stars on NXT.
Yeah.
NXT needs that, and it's almost funny to me that it's like Finn, one of the biggest wrestling stars in the world, is like, no, can I just stay in the city and enjoy my new marriage and life and stroll in and just kick ass on every segment you put me in?
Yeah, he's incredible. I don't know, a lot of them right now too. Kyle O'Reilly, I've been saying for over a year how he was probably my favorite person in the Undisputed Era, but no one ever talked about him much. People talked about him, but I was like, he's not the one that the people are talking about in NXT. Seeing him break out, once he got the beard, I was like, something's happening. This guy's moving. This guy's making moves.
Yeah, it's like an action figure. Totally. In wrestling, it's like someone grows a beard or all of a sudden starts wearing shirts without their sleeves. And we're like, oh, a move's about to happen.
Yeah, keep an eye out.
We got
something's happening. Watch him. Yeah.
It's the same in stand-up. I remember somebody started wearing hats on stage.
Yeah.
And Jeff and I were both like, oh, they're about to have something happen in their career. They're wearing a hat on stage now. Yeah. It's so stupid. It was like, well, they just changed the way we thought about him. Or when Nate Bargatze grew a beard. That's when I was like, oh, he's going to blow up now. That's what was missing. He already had a perfect act. He didn't have a beard yet.
It was like that guy with Electric Avenue. Once he got long dreads, it was like, now's your moment.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I'm on board with all that, man. Oh, I got my holiday drinks. I got my holiday drinks right now. I got an Irish coffee. I got coffee with Jameson cold brew in it because that's how you do holiday mornings in this house.
Nice.
And I also have a spiked eggnog because I don't know if I want dessert or not yet. So
I have a dumb question, but this is my level of dumb.
So
what alcohol do you put in an eggnog?
It depends, man. It depends on how you're feeling.
Really,
what
you can change it?
Mm-hmm. So typically it would be a rum. I would suggest a spiced rum. I think Kraken is one of the better spiced rums you can mix with an eggnog. But for me, for today, what I did is I actually used a pumpkin cream liqueur. So it's got kind of a pumpkin-y, eggnoggy flavor to it, and keeping the creamy consistency. But I would say typically a rum.
Okay.
But I've seen other ones.
Do you crack some cinnamon on it?
Ooh, no, I don't get fancy. That's fancy moves right there, dude.
I mean, almost every kitchen has got some cinnamon or nutmeg. You could just dash onto that thing.
I bet you allspice is better, especially if you've got the pumpkin in it already.
Or the all seasoning spice. It says all.
Yeah. We got an everything bagel spice. That'd probably be good on top.
Yeah, why not? I have bagel and coffee together. Why wouldn't I have bagel and coffee together?
Yeah, bagel and coffees. Boom, done. Easy.
Yeah, exactly. They're friends.
Yeah. They get along.
Yeah.
There's entire industries based off that
bagel
fact.
spice too. Yeah, exactly. I can't imagine a bagel place not serving coffee. You're just wasting everyone's time.
Yeah, you walk in there for the bagel and they're like, we're more of a juice, slushy kind of a place.
I'm like, oh, you don't appreciate waking up? Are you kidding me? You're both breakfast.
Yeah.
In fact, my buddy was asking, we were comparing our favorite bagel places out here in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, now this place only has average bagels, but great coffee. So I go. Because sometimes that's what you want.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'd be okay with that. I'll tell you, even an average pumpernickel, it's pretty damn good.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if we're going to put salmon on it. Now I'm already won over no matter what's going on.
A little bit of the lox.
Oh, I love lox.
You know what they did in New York, and I never seen it anywhere else? You could get the bagel hollow. They would literally just dig out all the bread.
Yeah.
I never saw that shit before. In New York,
the first time I ever saw that was East Coast Subs would dig out all of the inside of their bread and then put the filling in and just give you the crust of the bread.
Huh.
And it was great. And then that's when I learned about that. But yeah, I see that all over the place. Only East Coast, though. All over the East Coast, though. People will dig out the center of their bagel and put in like their smear or whatever they need.
Yeah, I kind of wanted just a bag of all the insides. Just be like, can you just dump that all into a plate for me? Like
that's truly the fattest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. No. You're just like watching the guy order in front of you.
Wearing a dirty shirt.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Dude, can you imagine? Like, you're like waiting. waiting in line, the guy in front of you orders it hollow, and you're like, I'm gonna have a pumpernickel and also the innards of the one before me.
I would love that. I would love to see that. Like somebody like even 3 back. Like if he doesn't want that middle, I'll take it. Just throw it in the bag and I'll eat the rest.
Yeah. Whoa! Put that on the side. I'm coming.
Yeah. What is it? Cinnamon raisin? Yeah, I won't eat it in the same bite as mine, but I'm still gonna eat it. It's still got cinnamon and raisin and bagel.
Dude, it's basically a bagel bite.
Yeah, it's exactly what that is. It's just without any of the outside.
Yeah, bagel holes.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want a business that sells bagel holes?
Yeah, it's like Top of the Muffin, but it's bagel holes, where it's just the inside balled up by hand.
Balled up.
Yeah.
Did you ever read Clickbait? Like the website?
No.
There's a website that it's like The Onion, but extreme. And they had top 10 things on the McDonald's menu that are secret items you don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like hamburger, all balled up. Cheeseburger, all balled up. Big Mac, all balled up. Fish fillet, all balled up. And it was because they were like, and they would like give a description, but like, and then you tell them, I want the fish fillet, but I want it all balled up plain. And they go, I know exactly what you're talking about. And then they ball it up, and then they put it, it's all mush, like, and then the end of it is the Happy Meal all balled up. And they got the toy, and it's all bushed up around the toy. So it's like an owl pellet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think about it all the time. One of my favorite jokes. The secret menu is just ordering the regular one and just balling it like a snow. What is it? Snowball.
Oh, yeah. You're balling it like snow. What do they call that?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I did everything except cross the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want bagel holes?
Yeah, bagel holes. That's what I'll call them.
I think that could literally be a business that does well. If you called the bagel place Bagel Holes, and you sold regular bagels, but also all that center stuff you're selling on the side, and you oh no, just get it with the smear and just do it, and it's all already ready to go.
Yeah, you got a little dipper
bagel
right there.
Holes. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
get the smear and some bagel holes, and don't worry about the rest.
Yeah, but you sell the smear in smaller containers, and you just call it bagel hole dippers.
If that's what you want, I would want the full size smear.
I mean, you can get that, but you could also get a dipper. It's cheaper.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you can get the dipper, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm getting full size smear.
Because you're gonna take a spoonful of smear and then basically pick up one bagel with it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. Yeah. I want it like icing, just covered like icing, like a cupcake, like a bagel cupcake.
Okay, wait. So when you cut a bagel in half, now that you're at your house, not in New York, are you taking the center part out? Or are you keeping it?
I never took the center part out. Even if they asked me to or started to, I was like, whoa, that's half of my bagel.
Exactly.
Yeah, why are you throwing away half of my fucking sandwich real quick? Like, no. I ordered the whole thing. If I want to get rid of it.
When they do that, you're like, thank you. That's calories I don't need. Empty calories. And
can you imagine? Imagine going to Five Guys. They make you up the burger. They get to the end, and you see them take one of the patties and throw it in the garbage and hand it over to the hollow.
It's not exactly what they're doing, but it's exactly what they're doing. So
what they're doing. I paid for all of it. Give me all of it. I'll decide if I'm going to spit some of it out.
That's on you?
Yeah, that's on me. That's my decision. I've paid for all that. I want the whole thing.
Okay, so you cut your bagel in half.
Yeah.
You got the cream cheese. First off, what flavor is your cream cheese? Second, how do you smear it?
What do you mean, how do you smear it?
People got different ways. Some people like to just plaster the whole thing, both sides. And then when they take bites, it's just cream cheese coming out like it's a Play-Doh machine.
No, I gotcha. I mean, for me, I really like just pumpernickel and plain. But I really do get, like, when someone at work or any work you ever get where they just bring in, like, a bag of bagels, usually the most simplistic bagel is the one I want, and usually whatever kind of veggie or lox type schmear is the one I'll take. But if I can find pumpernickel and plain, I'm happy. Happy as shit. Or the other bagel I'll get, if I can't get that, a lot of places don't have it, is if they have it, and it's not often they do, but I really like the cheddar and jalapeno bagels.
Yeah. I feel like those are everywhere. Those are at the grocery store. You get those at Ralph's.
It's easier to find at Ralph's than it is to find at a fucking Einstein.
Huh. Well,
Yeah.
the problem is you're going to Einstein. Not a
Problem is
genius
there's no
now.
Ralph's out here.
Oh, or Einstein's.
Yeah, or Einstein. Dude, there was a bagel place in New York called Pumpernickel's.
Sure.
You want to guess the fucking punchline about how furious I got when I went in there?
They didn't have pumpernickel bagel.
They didn't even serve pumpernickel bagel. It wasn't they ran out. We just don't have that here. Change your fucking name.
That's a tough day
Oh.
in the business when they realize they're not selling the name of the business, but they have a successful business. And
Yeah.
like, do we really stop? It's like the Crossroads Wiener Schnitzel had to get to.
They still sell wieners.
They don't sell schnitzel.
Can you imagine that shit happens at Dunkin' Donuts? We don't sell that here anymore. Do you sell Dunkin' still?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not selling pumper or nickel. What if they just started selling nickels? Like, listen, we know we can't stop the name thing. We don't have any more pumpernickel. But I got a roll of nickels I can give you.
That are wooden nickels with someone named Pumper on it?
Like
They're
Vanderpumper.
like, oh, you've misunderstood.
Yeah, like, oh, that is on me. You're right. That is on me completely.
Yeah. They're like, oh, well, we get that confusion all the time. We're talking about these wooden nickels here.
See, now, I'm an old man like you are. We're just old men in younger people bodies.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy the pumpernickel bagel, and it is a 50-50 chance whether it's there. I also enjoy the coffee ice cream, and a lot of companies stopped making that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because caffeine's supposed to be bad for you or something. I call bullshit.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Caffeine's out there. It's worse for you in soda. That's there.
Yeah. The cream's going to do it for me, not the caffeine. I'm going to be honest.
If it both does, listen. If I can buy cigarettes here, I should be allowed to buy coffee flavored ice cream.
Yeah. And
You
if you're
can't
taking the
choose
coffee
this
out of the
higher
ice
road.
cream, yeah, 100%. But if you're taking the coffee out of the ice cream, but you're leaving all that fucking cream, you're missing the point.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Like, look,
Now,
there's
I
a
was
pinch of
at-
caffeine in here.
I was at a fancy grocery store, and I asked where they had Mountain Dew, and they said they don't carry soda at all. Soda, the whole genre of it, they don't carry. And I went, well, that's fair. You don't carry any sodas.
Yeah.
They didn't just choose one. And then I went to the
Yeah,
gas station about the soda, and then decided if I have to go to the gas station to get what I want, I probably shouldn't drink this anymore.
Yeah, not
But that's on me.
gas stations don't carry like good decisions.
No, there's not a good decision in the gas station.
None. That's like the primary sales point for Four Locos. That was their bread and butter.
Yeah, exactly.
There were liquor
like,
stores
"Wanna
that
see if
wouldn't
you
sell
get
Four
home?"
Locos. Yeah.
But gas stations held strong.
Yeah, every gas station was all like, why would we stop carrying that? That is our ethos.
We're going to carry that longer than we carry gas.
Yeah. Sorry, we didn't refill the gas, but cooler's full.
What if everything at the gas station's price fluctuated like actual gas?
Look,
The
man,
way all gas changes.
it's harder to get right now.
Yeah, you're like, oh, dude, you're never going to believe it. Cigarettes are $4 right now. They were $8 last week.
Yeah.
You got to stock up on cigarettes.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting when you think about the idea that we've just accepted that as a like constantly fluctuating day by day price. But if other things did that,
Mhm.
we'd lose our shit. If anything else did that.
Yeah.
When
Yeah, if
shit
milk
goes on
did it.
sale a week after we got it, we try to go in there and get them to give me my fucking 38 cents back.
Yeah, try doing that with gas.
Yeah.
Hey, I noticed that it's at $2.85 now, and I bought it for $3.11 last week.
Yeah, and you're holding up your receipt and shit. Look, it was just 2 days ago. Can I just... You tell me if I were to come in now? All right, well, yeah.
Yeah, no, but if everything's price fluctuated like gas.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, man, you can check the stock market before you leave the house to find out what M&Ms are going for.
Yeah. Dude, Nestle's down. Go get some M&Ms.
Dude, if that was actually the way it worked when we had the toilet paper crisis, places wouldn't have ran out of toilet paper. They would have just had super expensive toilet paper.
Oh yeah.
They would be like, "Oh yeah, no, we have it, but it's $300 for a roll of 12 or a pack of 12s."
Well, people were trying to do that.
I know, and it was working.
It was working for a bit, yeah. And then that dude got shut down because he's all like, "Oh yeah, once I saw there was a pandemic coming, I bought all the sanitizer in my town." So then, like, the police showed up and they said, "Guess what?
Taking it all." I remember
like
I
this
saw
one
that
bit.
article. I shared that article. But,
And then the dude tried to put out a boo-hoo fucking thing where he's all like, "I was just trying to feed my family." Nope.
But
No.
here's the thing: is that as far as America's concerned, he's not wrong.
Yes, he
He's
is.
wrong morally, but like as far as the way the economy works, that's what we teach people to do: find out what's going to be scarce and stock up on it.
No, hold on. There's one specifically about pandemics. There's a law against it. It has to do with price gouging during pandemics or times of emergency.
Oh, great! That's perfect.
Yeah, so there's like an actual law facilitating for like, hey, it's one thing if you're trying to buy these sneakers and flip it for twice because you're a dick, but you also can't say, hey, it's now a health scare if you don't have this and I have it, so how much are you willing to pay for your health? Because then you're trying to take advantage of somebody trying to take care of their family honestly, and you're just putting it under the guise of a hustle.
Yes, for sure, absolutely. Now, what's the difference between that and what the price of insulin is?
But no, that should be illegal.
But
Big
insulin
Pharma
price gouging
is
has
illegal.
been happening for a long time.
I know.
They're only now talking about regulating the price of insulin by law.
Well, only now are some people talking about it. Bernie's been talking about it since the 40s.
Yeah, that's true. He came out and instead of crying, he was complaining about the price of Big Pharma.
Yeah, he
And the
saw the
doctor
receipt
slapped
after
him
he
and
was
he's like,
born.
"You're socialist."
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. 100%. No, yeah, I think the whole Big Pharma thing's an absolute fucking horrible
It's really
thing.
funny.
But
Bernie
I mean,
came out crying because he was born in a hospital, and he was like, "Oh, these bills."
yeah. Oh, Dad. Ah!
I'm
GR
just
Lunar's coming
born
through
and
the
I'm
chat.
watching Who joined
Happy
the chat?
Thanksgiving, Lunar. GR Lunar.
Happy Thanksgiving, Lunar.
He's former alum. He tells me he doesn't pay attention to wrestling anymore, but texts me every day about wrestling. So we'll win him back.
Yeah, your heart's still there, buddy.
It's there. It's there. It's in there. We'll get to it. We'll dig him out like a bagel. We'll get to it.
Yeah, alum of what?
The show. He used to host on the show.
Okay. Oh, good. Cool.
The last year when Kevlar's kids went to baseball, he just flat out couldn't schedule it in at all, and so for like 3 months we had Lunar on. He's the one from the famous highlight for the New Year show. That he's the one who got scared and upset and couldn't get back on track after I farted his head off.
Yeah, no, that was crazy.
It was intense, dude. It was so good.
No, it's not so good. You should see a doctor. I forwarded that clip to doctors, and they just don't even accept it.
Yeah, they say there's a lot going on in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Lunar does say it was Goldberg. That's canon. That's true. Once Goldberg lost the Universal title, he's like was out, dude. He's like, I can't do this. He's like, how can anyone beat Goldberg? He's like, how could they do this to Goldberg and his legacy? They're like, no one's better than Goldberg. Like, don't they get that? And Goldberg lost, and he just couldn't handle it, man.
Was it this last time Goldberg had the belt?
Yes.
I mean,
this
so you
last
don't
time
think
at Mania.
nobody can beat Goldberg, even if Goldberg's like in his mid-50s?
Yeah, no, because Goldberg's good, dude. Undefeated for a long time.
In the 90s?
Yeah. How many people can say they retired Bret Hart?
That's not a nice thing to say.
That's so fucked up. For anyone who doesn't know, Goldberg gave Bret Hart such a concussion he was no longer cleared to wrestle for the rest of his life. So
Yeah, exactly. That's not a good thing. You can't. It wasn't like he was handed that over. Although, how many people can say that they retired the Undertaker?
Yeah, a few, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he just kept retiring. At
Yeah,
the same time,
sure.
dude, I'm gonna let him keep retiring. I don't care if he does this like Cher. Remember she had 11 farewell tours. Final
And the
farewell.
Stones had farewell tours, and they're still going.
Yeah, but I'm okay
So-
with that.
My problem with this one is that, first off, don't call it a final farewell. We all want another farewell. That's the problem, is that we want another farewell where people are there.
I think it's hard to say anything needs to happen when people are anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just a hard thing to say because
But that's
I
what I'm
think
saying,
that
is that why say that this is a final... But just let us... We'll just do this all the time. And if every 6 months... I don't mind if he comes out and just choke slams people every year at WrestleMania and then leaves. Does the intro, choke slams them, and we make it the next 20 years. He shows up for WrestleMania, just choke slams them, gets old and fat, and we don't care.
he doesn't want to stay in shape, and he can't do that to the character. I think what we saw was the final farewell to the Undertaker, but we all know that what they will wait for, what we can wait for when people are back, is the Hall of Fame. He'll go into the Hall of Fame. He might be class of 2. There might be only him and someone else. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be surprised at all if we're just gonna have an hour-long, just an hour-long thing of Undertaker saying whatever he wants to for as long as he wants to. You know, I could see
That's
him
how
not
long it
getting
takes him to talk sometimes.
Yeah, he's thinking it through. Luner's in the chat still crying about Goldberg.
He's done. He's finished.
Yeah, he just loves Goldberg, and I get it, man. It's his hero. They got that new figure out, Goldberg with the Universal title. Thinking I know what he's getting for Christmas. That guy, yeah. What I'll do is I'll open the box, though, so I can put a little dab of blood on his forehead and put it right back in.
That's the figure you take out on Passover. You put it on the mantle.
That's the one. And he's the first figure to come with the blue Universal title.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so if you wanted the Universal title, you got to get Goldberg. Yes. Love it. Love it. Lunar couldn't be happier. It's everything you wanted in one figure. Greatest moment, he says.
I don't think he actually said that.
I think
you're making that up. I think you're making it up. I can't read the chat right now, but I believe you're making it up.
It's hard to say.
It's not.
Lunar taking the Dolph Ziggler route. It should have been Fiend.
It should have been Fiend.
That was a good one, right? But I do think that, I think that we saw the final farewell for Taker. And I think that's why he said it the way he did on that segment, was because I don't think he wanted the Undertaker to cry, but he's okay with Mark Calloway crying at the Hall of Fame. But he was getting choked up, and I think that's why he just wrapped it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That'd be weird if the Undertaker cried.
Yeah.
Oh, he cries like Porky Pig?
Yeah. Like when a kid's
What if
trying not to
Undertaker's
cry.
a really audible, really bad crier?
Yeah. Dude, what did you think though when Paul Bearer showed up? I want to know what you thought about that.
I was waiting for the Paul Bearer to move.
Me too.
Because I thought they got like the full hologram.
Yeah.
And then they didn't. It didn't move. Yeah, exactly. And I said that at home like everyone else, which sounds like I'm making fun of what I'm watching.
Yeah.
You know, like, it was all right. I'm in the middle with it. I'm neutral on it.
I thought it was really nice.
It wasn't as cool as like, yeah.
It's nice because what they were really truly doing. I think if they had made it like that Tupac hologram and it started like breakdancing and stuff, it could have taken away from it almost. Because what could they have done with the hologram if it did move that wouldn't come off a little bit silly? You know what I mean?
That's true because the voice is so silly.
Yeah. So if you just hear his voice the way they did, and then the picture of him holding it up, yeah.
I want to know if they told Undertaker, or if he just was in the ring doing his pose and then that thing showed up and he was like, "Ooh, nice."
I'm also curious if he even saw it. I don't know. I was trying to figure out if that was superimposed in the ring or superimposed on production.
I think it's superimposed in the ring.
You think so?
Because you could see through it. There is the ropes.
I know, but how would you get a hologram
They
to
did a
stay
lot.
flat?
They did a lot of things that didn't translate well on TV for that. Like the Tesla coils playing
Yeah.
the Undertaker theme would be very cool in person. It sounds kind of weak at home.
It was a little weird at first. I was like, what is happening? Is this a MIDI? Like, could they not get his actual entrance?
Because it also only plays one note, and we're used to this full arrangement.
And
you're like, oh,
with
you
the
don't
Tesla
realize
coils
how cool
doing
it is
it,
unless you're there.
they weren't in the shot, so I couldn't tell what it was till they zoomed out after the fact. I went, oh, the coils did all that.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was confused.
And you're like, oh, it's doing it live. But also, like, it's not as good as just hearing the bong. You know.
But I like it. I'll never be sad about any showing of love and appreciation for that character or that man. So I'm on board.
Yeah, I hope he gets on Cameo now. $500 a Cameo.
No, he was on Cameo. You didn't see that?
He was on Cameo?
Yeah, they sold 30 cameos at $1,000 a piece, and they sold out. They sold them. You can go on to the Cameo where you can see the reviewed clips, and you can see almost all of them. Because almost everyone said, yeah, we can share this. And there's some really good ones in there that are like... I mean, none of them are that good, because how could they be that good? And they're so good, because it is just so out of place, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen his hot ones yet, but it looks out of place too.
It's a little out of place. And then there's a guy who dresses up as Scooby-Doo who showed up at AEW a few times. He got one.
Huh.
Yeah. So it starts out and Undertaker's all upset about it too. He's like, "All Elite Scooby-Doo. That's how you want me to refer to you?" Like, he's all pissed.
That's hilarious.
And then there's just weird ones where there's one where it's like someone who is going to be dealing with like some sort of heart surgery, and he goes, "One day you'll be able to look behind and forget all about your heart surgeon." He goes, "But one thing that you'll never forget is I'll be haunting your dreams." And you're so like, what? It's this weird, like, if you survive this, I'm going to torment
hilarious.
you. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, and then I have any crazy surgery, I'm in the hospital. Just give me a video of the Undertaker telling me, worst case is he'll be the one to bury me.
Yeah. Cornette told a funny story.
Bury you alive.
Yeah. Cornette had told a funny story where he was at a show and there was like a terminally ill kid towards the front, and someone, as he was walking towards the back, like tugged on his jacket and said, "Hey, here's the kid's story. Undertaker's his absolute favorite. Do you think you can get Undertaker to sign this thing?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll do it." And took it back there and gives it to him. And he said he signed it Undertaker, and then he puts a big R on there, and then he like pauses and like turned the R into a B, and then put like best wishes or something. Because he was so used to writing rest in peace on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like, like the R comes out and he's like, Can't do this one.
Better call an audible here.
Yeah. Well,
best in peace.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Good for him.
Oh, yeah. That's so good, dude. Oh, man. Do you got anything going on tonight?
I'm going to watch some movies. I haven't figured out what yet. Might watch Fantastic Beasts for the first time.
Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about that. A lot of people really liked it. We don't have much going on. We're making a duck.
Oh, cool.
Is that it sizzling right there? Oh, I can hear it sizzling. That's pretty good.
Quack.
Yeah, I don't know why you don't do something like that, especially if it's just you, to get like a game hen or something. It's kind of like a similar ambiance for yourself kind of a deal.
I've done a couple years where I cook a whole chicken for myself.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, but this year I just bought Boston Market.
Boston Market's pretty dope. Dude, I've had Boston Market for Thanksgiving before because they do a whole thing with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's pretty good. I got it when I worked in 911. I worked Thanksgiving 2 years in a row, and both years they gave us Boston Market Thanksgiving dinners.
Mhm.
And I did that this year. I was like, you know what? Let's just do that. That's fun.
Yeah, no, it's easy.
So nothing big. What was the other thing? Oh, I might, because I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to watch tonight. There's also a new movie that's out now. That's a David Bowie movie about the early days of David Bowie, and Mark Maron's in it. So I might watch that too.
Like it's a documentary?
No, it's like a movie, like the way the Queen movie is, but it's about David Bowie. It's supposed to be a big theatrical release movie, but there's no theater to put it in.
Who plays Bowie?
I forget who. Not Mark Maron. That'd be great.
Yeah.
If it were. No. It's a young guy. It's a young thin dude.
Bowie movie I'm putting in right now.
Yeah.
Bowie movie. Labyrinth pulled up. This isn't going well. Stardust, is that the one?
Johnny Flynn plays Bowie. Yeah, it is Stardust.
Jenna Malone's in there, dude. I haven't seen her in something in a while.
Yeah, look at that. It's I can rent it for $5.99. Yeah, I'm doing this.
Tell me how you think. Because I don't think that dude looks like him at all. It's really weird. Like it looks like he's
I
wearing a
don't
weird
think
wig.
the dude looks like him at all either. But I know I'm gonna love the soundtrack for sure.
I also think that we're a little too hung up as a society of wanting someone to look like the person should look when playing a movie about them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I agree with that too. Where even just looking, I was like, I wish it looked just like him. It's like, or do you wish they acted just like them?
Did you see the movie? Yeah, did you see Elvis vs. Nixon?
No, I remember talking about that too. No.
It's not versus. It's not like they fought, but the Elvis Nixon movie is about the day that Elvis met Nixon because he wanted to be able to bring his guns on airplanes. And what is it? And the guy they got looks nothing like Elvis.
Yeah.
But he's such a phenomenal actor and really pulls in the energy of an Elvis, trying to be like an insulated Elvis, not like the big superstar on stage Elvis. It really is great, and it doesn't matter that guy does not look like Elvis.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What? So
it's a fun movie.
If you want I thought Elvis had private jets and stuff.
He wasn't allowed still to have his handguns on it.
I thought on your private plane you literally do whatever you want. I thought that was
I
the
wonder
point
if that's
of it.
why he bought a private plane. It may have been to carry his gun.
Yeah.
But the opening scene in the movie is him trying to get on a plane.
And they're like, you've got guns and you can't
Firearms.
do that. And he goes, well, I guess I'll just go see Nixon then.
No. So he decided that he wanted to become a secret agent. And if he became a secret agent, then he would have clearance to do that, to have guns anywhere in the country. There's no place where he has to ever. Yes. And he wrote a letter to Nixon about how he will do some secret agent work to become a secret agent to get the thing. And he can do it because he's such a popular figure that anything that he needs him to say that would help the country but speak to the children, he's got such a connection with the young audience that he could do that for them. And apparently they put him on one mission.
What the fuck? That happened in actual life?
So, yeah, Elvis wrote the letter, which half of the letter is in Nixon's presidential library. The other half is in Nashville now, or in Memphis in Elvis's house. But Elvis didn't hear back from him, so Elvis just got on a plane and went to the White House and just walked up to the White House. And it's like, I'm Elvis, I'm here to see the president.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Nixon
"Do you have
come
a
out and
meeting?"
play?
And he's like, no, I don't. And he goes, but I am Elvis, right? And they're like, okay. And then so they reached out to Elvis, or the president, in the White House, in his office. Like, Elvis Presley's here to see you. And he goes, I don't have a meeting with Elvis Presley. I don't know who Elvis Presley is. Because Nixon is 70 and Elvis is like 35 at the time. And so the girls were like, no, you have to see Elvis. He's like the biggest star in the world. And he goes, okay, tell him to come back at 4. And it was like noon. So Elvis had to like kick it in DC for a couple hours and then come back and do his meeting.
I had really good Italian food in DC when I was there once.
Mm-hmm.
Found a little time.
I've never been to DC.
I went there just to meet Penn Jillette. It worked.
Did you meet him?
Yeah.
That was great.
I met him twice. But only once in D.C. Second time I think was in New York.
I shook his hand in Vegas twice, I guess. I've seen it because I've seen him twice, and he's always in the lobby afterwards.
That's pretty cool. But yeah.
And so I'd be like, oh, good
insane.
show, but you never anything deeper than good show.
Oh, I think both times he'd been releasing a book, so I went to like book things with it. So.
Oh, that's good. Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's insane that happened, and I had no idea.
Oh, it's totally insane, and they really made it feel super insane in the movie, and that's part of the greatness.
Now I got to see that.
You should. It's well worth the hour and a half, 2 hours it is.
Is there like a documentary on it?
It's a lot of like, what? There is a documentary about it, but the movie is fun.
That's so good. Dude,
The
that's
movie's
insane.
very fun. Nixon was played by Kevin Spacey, pre-Me Too, clearly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I wish
it's a good
more
movie.
people know. I mean, I guess we wouldn't even know, though. I was about to say, if other big celebrities were all like, I should just be a secret agent so I could do what I want, and people wouldn't know because I'm a famous person, we wouldn't know if that's happened much or not.
Exactly. Well, it's the equivalent of how Obama went on Between Two Ferns because he wanted to talk about signing up for Obamacare.
Yeah.
That level of act that Galifianakis did for Obama is the same level act that Elvis did for Nixon.
Do you
where he
think
spoke
Galifianakis is a
publicly
secret
about
agent?
things. I'm saying that it's possible.
I guess it's hard to say. It's hard to give a hard no.
Yeah, you can't give a hard no because he's done the government a favor.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you, if I was like, hey, Obama, my podcast is open if you ever want to sit down and talk about a thing, he's not going like, it sounds legit.
Yeah.
How many episodes do you have? 1.
Yeah, but it wasn't really a success, so we're working on the first episode again next week if you want to be on it.
Yeah, we're gonna be on you'll be on the first one. So it's lucky.
It's a good launch, yeah. So it's similar like that because Elvis just like spoke openly about something that Nixon wanted people to approve. That's all Elvis was able to do. He just used his influence.
That's incredible. That's nuts. It's also like the exact opposite of what Ali was doing.
Yeah, exactly the opposite. Both heroes. Both heroes.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and both sticking to their convictions, which is something admirable to take away from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of funny you think about that same time frame. Elvis is all like, "I could do you guys a favor. I'll tell people you're cool," and then Ali's over there and it's like, yeah, fuck
I'll
you
tell
guys.
people you're cool. I like that. That's because that's literally how shallow it is. Hey, listen, man, I'm Elvis. I'll tell people you're cool. You're cool.
Yeah.
You can make me cool. You're cool.
Yeah, let me see
carry
your
a
book.
gun.
All right, stay cool in it right now. Stay cool. Elvis.
I always looked up to you, Richard Nixon.
Yeah. Nixon, you made me want to be a singer. What? Bob Dylan could say that though. And it wouldn't be a lie.
What the Richard Nixon always made want to sing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bob Dylan's
exactly.
like,
He
I
watched
need
the
to get
news,
out
got
there.
mad.
Yeah, exactly. I've got shit to say about this.
Yeah, I can't stay at home if this is what they're saying on TV. There's too much to combat. Let me get my.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Bob Dylan sings as if he's trying, like he wrote his lyrics down in the car. And there was bumps in the road, and he's putting the bumps in the singing now too. So,
Yeah, well, I had kind of a hiccup right here. So, although Nixon does,
we make
or not
Bob
Nixon.
Dylan sound like an idiot. We make him sound like such an asshole, and he's not at all.
It's almost the producer voice I do. Yeah, producer here. Well, everybody wants
also
to
your
get
Dylan.
stoned. Yeah, it's also my Dylan.
So that's a compliment to producer.
Accurate.
Yeah, that's compliment to producer. He's considered a great orator.
When I tell people I don't like Bob Dylan's voice, they get so mad at me. But I can't imagine the argument they have.
The only argument
Like,
that's
no.
out there is lay, lady, lay.
But I can very easily be like, oh yeah, the guy doesn't have a good voice. And people will be like, no, he's a legend. you're like, yeah, but you clearly know his voice isn't good though.
Yeah, no, but I would say that listen to Lay Lady Lay and understand how someone could say he has a good singing voice, but then also be able to recognize everything
I
you know of him
understand
came
somebody
out
who might
after
like
that.
it. I get it. I mean, as a Tampa Giants fan, I love John Linnell. But if someone went, that voice annoys me, I'll be like, oh, nothing I can do about that. He's going to be John Linnell the whole time. And I love him for that. And you're not going to love him for that because he's going to keep doing that. But that's fine.
Do you remember the Lay Lady Lay song?
I mean, I know I've heard it because I've heard so much Bob Dylan in my life, but I don't recall exactly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Just listen to that one song, because here's the weird bit. He sings like a singer would sing. But then it's weird because it's also like, how come he never did that ever again on anything else? Because like it's like he put out one song to be all like, I could sing, but I will not be doing that moving forward. You're
like, Bob Dylan, you jerk.
Yeah, because that's the one song where I would say like, oh, okay, so I can recognize that he does have a good singing voice, but he also never utilized it again. So it's also hard to make the argument of, oh, listen to any of his songs and you'll know. No, it's just not true. And seeing him live, and when I saw him live, such a bummer, man.
Bob Dylan might be the biggest artist of all time I'd never want to see live.
I don't think I'd even recommend it. I saw him because it was like the opportunity was there, and I thought it was great, and he's a legend. I love a lot of his songs.
Yeah.
But he can't even carry his own weird tunes anymore.
Where he should be going like, he does like, like it's not.
Dude, it's more gravelly. It's just, It's all, I remember as I walked up, he was singing Lay Lady Lay. But it was, it took me a while to figure it out. He was literally just going, Lady Lay. And I was like, what? Yeah. Dave Davies was a sad visual. Bob Dylan wasn't a sad visual though. Because he didn't have like slippers. He wasn't wearing like comfortable for the hospital clothes. Dave Davies was. And Dave Davies was wearing the same clothes on stage as was everything that he had on his merch table, which was all taken at different years. It was like a black shirt with a purple trim, and you looked at it, you're like, oh, look at this poster from a couple years ago. Oh, he's wearing the same thing. And then you're like, oh, look at this album he just put out. Same thing there. And like you're just like, oh, he's got this one shirt. He's like Fred Flintstones of.
It's funny. I feel that way about Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
That he just looks like he's the manager of Ross, and he got together with like 3 other managers of Ross, and they happened to sell out Pompeii.
Yeah. Oh, 100%, dude.
I mean, like visually, if you don't hear that the music sounds amazing, it looks like a bunch of dads got together and it happened to have like 50,000 other dads show up.
Yeah, blue jeans, brand belt, New Balance sneakers.
Yeah, totally. All of that stuff. And then like a button-up shirt with like a white shirt underneath it. It's just one solid color, but it's like a pastel. Because his wife was like, this one's cute on you.
Yeah, this one looks good on you. Put this one on. It looks professional.
Exactly. And he's just like, I don't need to be professional. I wrote Dark Side of the Moon.
Like,
honestly, I wish they would rather just wear other Pink Floyd shirts.
Yeah. Wear old tour shirts, dude. That'd be sick.
Yeah. People would love it.
Yeah.
But he also looks like the manager. When you ask for a complaint, a guy comes out with a haircut he doesn't even like. And he's just like, oh, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Except then he turns around and plays amazing guitar.
Yeah. But he's, what can I do for you? Most of the time I feel like it's just gonna. Most of the time I feel like the attitude they come out with is, what is it gonna take? What is it that you want?
That's exactly the attitude you get. Yeah, is what is it gonna take?
Yeah. Here we are. What is your expectation, and how do we get out of this?
The good, the bad, and the ugly song sound says, woo woo.
Yeah.
So, what's it gonna take for you to leave this place satisfied? Wah, wah, wah. I want these shoes half off. Fine.
Right. Take one off then. Because he's dressed like a dad.
That's hilarious.
solutions, you know?
The stupidest joke I love.
Well, because we established he comes out dressed like a dad.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, I don't know, man. I think there's a lot to be thankful for this year, regardless of the fact that the year's been trying to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's like a huge thing too. People are being like, "Oh, you can't blame the year." It's like, yeah. I mean, in theory, time is a flat circle and it's a concept and all that stuff. But also, none of the shit happened outside of that year, so it does feel like you can say, "Remember how shitty that year was, and how much crazy it was."
As it stands currently, yeah, it all has fit in this year.
Yeah,
If
dude,
this goes on to 2023, then we'll start to blame other years.
I don't know, dude. I think you could retroactively say if it weren't for 2020, we wouldn't still be fucked.
That's also true. Yeah, it's our pride in the inaction.
Yeah, dude. You know how bad 2020 was? Do you remember the murder bees?
Yeah, I never met him.
Kind of, right? And then just disappeared one day.
They were a story for one. Yeah, they showed up and left like in the same week.
They either felt bad, just didn't want to be part of this anymore. I like someone put out a thing saying that they knew time travel existed, or said something along the lines of like their evidence for time travel was the fact that the murder bees, someone came back and saved us from the murder bees, but then all this other stuff happened. Like it was like it offset everything else, and it was all like, ugh. 2020 does feel like a year where it does feel like a movie where a time traveler keeps trying to fix a thing, like butterfly effect, keeps going back and then comes back to regular time and goes, fuck. I didn't know that was going to set all of California on fire. Like,
oh, dude, California, we have a fire season now. Like, it's just like every year there's wildfires. Like, I don't even know how that's possible. It's not like it's like, oh yeah, like this is the rainy season. It's like, oh yeah, no, this time of year we lose a neighborhood.
Yeah, which neighborhood are you in? It reminds me of
Good
that.
luck with fire season. A lot of brush.
Yeah, yeah. Walking up to someone's house, just kind of like standing outside. They're like, dude, what are you doing out there? A lot of dry brush around you, man. Real concerned. Season's coming.
Yeah.
Fire season's on the way, man. You got to start watering your shit. Do you remember that Saturday Night Live skit when they were talking about, I think it was W. Bush going into a second term, and it opened up with Will Ferrell in the in the Oval Office, and he showed a map of the country, and there were like 4 spots that just showed big fires, and he made reference to like, oh, those are just the permanent fires now that we can't put out anymore. It's kind of how I felt like 2020 was going towards. It's like, well, I guess California's just a big fire on the map now.
Yeah, we can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it.
Nothing.
Aaron, did you tell anybody about your podcast? How to find them?
No.
You got 2 of them now. Tell them about your podcast.
Yeah. Hey guys, I got podcasts. I got 2 of them now. You can find them on the internet. One of them is called Putting Up with Aaron Michael Marsh. That's my interview show that I do. Funny little interviews. I'm gonna chop some of this up and put this into an episode, as a matter of fact. And I also have one called Is This the Way? And it's a Mandalorian recap show where after every episode of Mandalorian, the next day I release an episode that tells you all the Easter eggs you missed and historically what's going on in the background of the story. So like we're covering like the different tribes of Mandalorian when they showed up, like when Sasha Banks showed up on the show. We explained why they can take their helmet off and he doesn't because they're from different tribes that have met before in the past on the Rebels cartoon. That kind of stuff is covered. And like last episode, we talked about the Dark Troopers that made a cameo appearance in the background.
I was about to ask you if you covered that because I want to know a lot more about it. I was like, is that like... I don't know the term Dark Troopers, but I was like, are those like stormtroopers in Onyx? Like, it was weird. And then I saw someone like send out a tweet that just said Dark Troopers. Whoa. And I was like, this is a
They're Dark Troopers. They got Force sensitive clones in there, which is what they were doing in that thing. That's why they want Baby Yoda's blood, is to create clones that are Force sensitive. But there's a large percentage of them that are, what is it when you're they're born with other defects.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I
really-
gathered that from that little hologram because the guy just says the M count's not going stable and we're seeing a lot of bad effects. And we
Yeah,
need
no,
the-
exactly. They talk about it directly, but not directly. And so we go through the history of that and how Snoke was one of the clones, which is why he has that deformed head and stuff. Because people are like, is that Snoke? You're like, it might not be Snoke, but Snoke was also made of this experiment that they're clearly recreating here now, doing this.
And you could find out it is Snoke. It could go either way.
And it might be, but it doesn't have to be because they made a lot of clones. And they tried to make a lot of them force sensitive. So it's just that kind of stuff where it's like we go through the background history of what you're looking at, the Easter eggs you're missing, like the R5 droid from A New Hope with the bad motivator shown up twice now in Mandalorian.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'll have to check it out. I think everyone who's listening should check it out if you like Star Wars. If you like our show, you probably like Star Wars because, I don't know.
If you're like obsessing over things.
Well, how do you figure?
Yeah, and of course, putting up with our Michael Marsh. Fun interview podcast show.
And
Anywhere
you're
you
one
can get
thing,
podcasts.
is this the way? Do you guys like take a sarcastic stance on some stuff? Because how the guy's always saying this is the way. Is your response kind of like, does it have to be the way?
That's kind of my tone, but that's not the way Andy likes it.
That's so good. The odd couple.
So I try to take that. And you're like, I don't know, is it?
yeah.
Do we? Because
Look,
there
this is
is
definitely
like the whole. Well, there was the scene where Mandalorian gave his rocket backpack to a guy. He traded it for Baby Yoda, and then it was like, did he set it off on purpose? Was this the murder? You know, like, is this the hero that we're really following?
Oh, I thought it was definitively he murdered that kid intentionally. I was like, oh, he just killed.
Yeah,
some
no.
kid.
On the first viewing, it felt slapstick. The second viewing, you definitely saw the things where it was murdered intentionally, for sure.
Yeah.
He set it off. He knew when he was trading that he was going to do them. It's completely intentional.
Oh yeah. At no point he didn't even hesitate. He goes, "You want the rocket pack? That's really easy to kill you with." Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, this is the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah. Oh, I'm happy you chose that because I can murder you with this without having to touch it.
Yeah, I don't got to think about it now. Just do it.
For sure.
Give me
a
that
lot of that
auto
kind
kill
of stuff.
button. Okay.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
That sounds awesome. I'll probably have to start checking it out because there's definitely things. When we did watch this last one, I did have to pause it after that hologram, and I was like, okay, that seems like a lot to figure out. But this is what that person just said. They're sucking
Here's
the blood
the
out of Baby
embarrassing
Yoda.
thing about that.
Huh.
Is like, because when we released the episode, I'm like, listen, I know the episode was 35 minutes, but we're looking at least 40 minutes to explain the scene.
Yeah.
Because like, that's the problem. It's like sometimes there's more history going on in the back than there is story in the front.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I couldn't even believe I caught it. Like when it all pieced together in my head, I was like, I'm a genius. Like,
Well, like, and those guys that shot the screen, because they were like, oh no, they're coming. Like when they shot it, they're wearing patches for the other clone labs that were shown in the prequels. And so like, these guys are definitely clone lab technicians. They're wearing the uniform and patches of a clone lab technician from the other Star Wars.
oh yeah, that's dope. I didn't even catch stuff like that. I just heard
Oh,
the
yeah,
thing
and then
I
some
pieced
of
it
the
together
stuff-
real quick.
Yeah, and then the ship that they had, that they took and did the chase scene with at the end of the last episode, was actually a Kenner action figure that was never released.
Oh, so that's so cool.
Well, yeah. So like, it was like this whole thing. It's like, so they just grab all these other old lore background things, and they were putting it into here. And so we're just going through that. Of course, there's the guy that's standing in the background. Did you see that?
I love it. And they made a little fake figure of it.
Yeah.
So funny, dude. There was something else I saw in one of them where I was like, that looks like a mistake.
What was it?
I don't remember what it was, but it was like a camera type thing where it was all like, was that the camera dude ducking in the back real quick or something? Like, it was something else where you just kind of go like, you'd think they'd catch it, but hey, it's hard to catch that kind of stuff sometimes.
It is, and it's also kind of amazing how there's not more of that in Star Wars with the amount of stuff that they have and the amount of crew they need to make a Star Wars.
Yeah.
You'd think we'd see way more booms drop in and people in the back.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I thought I saw a boom in one of them. Where I was like, is that the mic? Also, what I think is funny, which you might want to run with this one, the guy in the jeans in the background is wearing a green shirt.
Yeah, he is. It's
a tucked-in green
jeans.
polo.
Yeah.
Dude, Alex
He's
cacked
sponsored
that.
by Untuck It. It didn't even occur to me. Yeah, I already know green shirt guy.
That's what I mean. Make that connection, and he'll love it. He'll lose his mind. Just
Yeah,
be
you're
like,
right.
oh my God, guys, I found him. The guy in the
We
back
have
of
the
Mandalorian.
green shirt guy.
Yeah. If you thought it was exciting Sasha Banks joined Star Wars Universe, well, green shirt guy just joined Star Wars Universe. You're all in luck.
You're right. He would lose his shit if I did that.
Yeah.
Got
I'm
a
letting
little
you have
more
that
connection.
Yeah, he
Thanks.
doesn't listen to this show. I'll tell you that right now. Which
He,
is funny. We have a ton of mutual friends, and he has no idea who I am, and I love it.
Do you want to know him?
Yeah, I've run into him. I've hung out with him, actually, probably a dozen times. He just doesn't remember me any time. Every time I've ever met him, he goes, oh, it's nice to meet you. And I was like, again? He's all right. He's cool.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with him, but it's also like, I'm not going to... I think we're
Oh,
fine. I think we're fine where we ought to be. Like,
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
Okay, fine.
I see him in public, and it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot of online shows together now, so.
That's cool. And like I said, he's a mutual friend of a lot of my friends. So I know a ton of people who just love him. And I've hung out with him a few times. It's been like, okay, cool. Like, but I'm all right. I got my world.
I think he's great.
Yeah. Guys, I think we're ready for last call.
Are we gonna do the toast?
We can do the
We need
toast.
to cheers the departed.
The departed. We do have a sad note to end on, but it is a thankful day, and I'm glad I got to hang out with my brother on this one. We didn't really get to review, we didn't want to review AEW and NXT, but I will say both shows this week. If you are watching because you're curious or listening because you're curious and you got all the way to the end and you wanted a nugget, both shows I think did a really good job of setting up both of their big shows coming up. I think this was one of AEW's best shows as far as straight storytelling went. Ricky Starks is an absolute star on the mic. I said this online, I'll say it again. Watching him on the mic versus watching anybody else is a Starks difference.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's how that's going.
it's good. And NXT was fantastic and enjoyable, and KO was on it. And the main event match, Kyle and Pete Dunne, that could have been a takeover main event. That was phenomenal. So if you came here for that, we loved them both, so maybe we didn't have a lot to talk about because of how good they were. So anyways, we were talking today with my brother, shooting the breeze, as it were. Guys, we do want to give a final farewell to Bob Ryder. He was the co-founder of TNA, and he was found dead yesterday. And there is nothing but a lot of our favorite superstars online and wrestlers from every company talking about how he was the first one to really give them a chance and to really give them a platform and how much he meant to everyone. I saw a bunch of people messaging about how they would call him at 3 or 4 in the morning, panicking about something completely unrelated, and he never didn't answer the phone and wasn't supportive to them. So it sounds like that the indie wrestling scene lost a huge chunk of their foundation and support.
He felt like a college football star coach.
Yeah.
Like where it's like he took them from high school to the pros, but also sticks with them throughout their entire career and is an emotionally great guy to reach out to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So complete tragedy, tears in our beers for sure. We'll see you down the road. Cheers and goodbye to Bob Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything else that you wanted to hit on? Anything that you felt like you wanted to talk about today?
I think we did it all. The only note I had was talk about bagels.
Yeah, I think we hit that. I think we
got the bagels.
We got to scratch the surface on the bagels. Guys, I do think that's the last call. Check out Aaron's podcast. You can find him. All of his socials are on the screen below. You can see he is at Aaron M. Marsh on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. His podcast, Putting Up with Aaron Marsh. And how crazy is that? I messed up my own name.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, at Ref Marshall, dick. You can find us at WOTR The Show on Instagram. You can find our podcast anywhere you find podcasts. You can find his as well. Putting Up with Aaron Marsh. Is This the Way? And Wrestling on the Rocks. Give us all the likes, the subscribes, the stars, the follows,
Likes, the subscribes.
the likes and
rates,
subscribes, rates, reviews, notifications on or off. Put the I in subscribe, the no in notification. That's fine.
Put the sub in subscribe.
Yeah. Subscribe. Guys, I think we did it. That's last call. Cheers.